Hello guys, welcome back to the channel where we are back with the longer form video, and as I believe it was last time with the last power rankings, I've had to change things around a bit because we've got relatives coming over, so the bed now has to take centre stage rather than my desk, so that's why things are a little bit different and why the terrible town of the Pittsburgh Polo is that way rather than that way. So this is going to be the latest edition of the power rankings that I like to do. As I said last time, I want to do these monthly rather than weekly, as you will see other pages. Just kind of like to take the full month into account rather than be reacting based on off the back of one game. Plus, some teams have got buys. So how do you really judge a team that's just come off a bye if that was during the week? So all those little factors, and also with the trade deadline, and that's going to be very important with one of the teams coming up. I'd like to see what the teams look like moving forward as well, and based on what the current setup is. So as with last time, I'm just going to keep it to 10 teams with one little note from each team as to why I think they are at the place they are. And with that all being said, those caveats in place, let's get started. And I'm going to start with number 10 with the New York Jets, who I think many people would have thought after the Aaron Rodgers injury were pretty much dead and buried. I still certainly thought they were. After the Aaron Rodgers injury, and even after the first month when I saw the struggles they were going with. But you have to give credit to the team, and whilst Zach Wilson is not the quarterback that I think many within the Jets organization would have hoped he would have been, he's helping them get by, and with the defense that they have, they are making enough big splashes and big plays and big stops, and you can't not recognize that. And I think with what we've been seeing with Aaron Rodgers, and the fact that he looks as if he could be coming back sooner rather not sooner rather than later, but he could be coming back before the end of the season. I don't think you can really write the New York Jets off at this point in the same way you were early in the season. So that is why they are going. That is why they are going to 10. Number 9, sticking in the AFC East, I have got the Buffalo Bills. A little bit of a stumble recently, but I think when you look at the talent that they have, I still think there is enough talent to get by, especially with the addition of Leonard Fournette in free agency, not free agency, but as a free agent. I think that's going to add a very, very crucial aspect to their game, and not having to rely on Josh Allen as much and give him a threat in the red zone, being effective in both the running game and the passing game. I think that's a very, very astute signing for the Bills. And while some people might have their doubts on what they can do, I think the addition of Leonard Fournette is going to be a huge one for them. So that's why I put them at 9. Number 8, another team that has that made a bit of a move yesterday at trade deadline day, and that's the Detroit Lions. And I really want to talk about Donovan Peoples-Jones. I did it on my videos yesterday, but I just want to sort of reiterate it today. I really do think he's a very, very good depth option. We've seen that the Detroit Lions are making big waves on defense, which was their problem last year. And on offense, they are just, not quite as good as the Miami Dolphins, who we're going to talk about later. But the more weapons that you can give Jared Goff, the more effective he's going to be. And whilst he may have been overlooked in Cleveland, I think he's going to be a very, very good depth option for the Detroit Lions to bring into that system. So again, the more weapons you can work with, the better. And that's why I've got them at 8 as they continue their climb. Number 7, I've got the Dallas Cowboys, who I think are one of the most balanced teams in the league, and who are dealing very well with the Trayvon Diggs injury, which again had the potential to derail their season with their excellent quarterback duos of him and Gilmore. But I do think that this is a team that certainly is not the most prolific, and you want to have all those talks about what they're doing offensively and are they as good as what they could possibly be after Kellen Moore and all that stuff. But I do think they have a very, very good. They've got the whole system. They know what they're doing, and I think that is the most important thing, is that they understand what the mission statement is, and they are executing it incredibly, incredibly well. So that's why I've got the Dallas Cowboys at 7. Baltimore Ravens come in at 6. I think the main bit of this, and this will come with a little bit of a caveat, is that Lamar Jackson is not showing that he's injury prone. I had my concerns coming into the season. One ACL injury from 2021. Yeah, you could deal with it. We saw what he did towards the start last year. Having a second one after what happened at the end, I was always just a little bit concerned. But you can't doubt that what he's done so far has been incredibly, incredibly effective. I don't think he's quite in the MVP discussion yet, but with the offense running through him, then I think you really can't ask more. They do have one of the better defenses in the league, and they are complementing each other well. But as I said, with the Baltimore Ravens, it all goes through Lamar Jackson. He's doing well, the team does well, so it's pretty simple as that. For number 5, I've got the Jacksonville Jaguars, and whilst they have got all the right pieces together on both sides of the ball, and they are growing very well as a team, going off of what happened last year and everything, they deserve to be this high in amongst a lot of people's ranking. I've seen some people put them at number 1. I've seen some people put them at number 2. I'm not going quite that high as well because I want to take the whole thing into account. I just don't know if I can trust them in. If I were to, if you were to have the playoffs as it were now, I'd say given the teams that are ahead of them, do I trust them to beat the teams in the AFC that are ahead of them? I don't. Again, give another month when those other teams, if they start to have problems and the Jaguars continue, then maybe. But just in a matchup basis, I don't have them. I just don't have them winning the games against the bigger teams in the AFC as some people might do. So that's why I've got them at 5. Very good team, can't fault them, but I just have my doubts about them when it comes to the postseason. That's why I'm keeping them down. Number 4, I've gone for the San Francisco 49ers. And much as I talked about the Detroit Lions with their additions, the Buffalo Bills with their additions, I think the key one here is Chase Young. Because as I mentioned in my TikTok, when the news came through, when you have the defense that the San Francisco 49ers have, with Nick Bosa, with Armstead, with Javon Hargraves, with Fred Warner, with I won't go. The San Francisco 49ers defense. There are just far too many good names to mention and to leave out. The fact that they've just got another very, very good, again, not Nick Bosa, but very, very good defensive end that they can add into the mix. I think the depth that is going to bring them and the problems that is going to cause a lot of teams in the NFC. I think that is why. Again, whilst you may have questions about their offense, I know, is Brock Purdy really the guy after his issue? Should you be benching for Sam Darnold? I think that defense can carry them throughout the season. And whilst they continue to get their quarterback situation sorted, that should be able to guide them. So that's why I've got the 49ers at 4. Number 3, I've gone for the Miami Dolphins, who say what you want about the offense. Again, much like Detroit, we know they are incredibly talented on the offense side of the ball. But I think the key one, and he showed his impact on Sunday, is getting Jalen Ramsey back. They made the trade for him, missing time because of injury. But the fact that he's now back and adds another excellent addition to the defensive side of the ball, which was always not necessarily the weakness, but the weaker of the two sides, I think is going to be crucial, especially when it comes to if it comes to playoff times against some of the quarterbacks like Trevor Lawrence, like Patrick Mahomes, like potentially Joe Burrow, like Josh Allen, for them to have that option back in the defensive backfield, I think is going to be incredibly important for them, and I think that's what takes them over the top against the likes of the Jaguars and the Ravens and the Bills and the Jets in the AFC within these rankings. So Jalen Ramsey's addition puts the Dolphins at number 3. Number 2, I've gone for the Kansas City Chiefs, and a lot of this is based on faith. I think, much like we talked about with Bill Belichick, and can he get out of this slump? The discussion we've had in the past couple of years is a lot of it is based on faith and what you've done for me in the past, and you get the benefit of the doubt. I think the Kansas City Chiefs get that benefit of the doubt. Whilst the wide receiving corps might not be the best, with Patrick Mahomes, I will always give him the benefit of the doubt that he will turn a B receiver into an A receiver, and a B plus into an A minus sort of thing. He has that ability. So whilst maybe you might question what they're doing offensively, the defense is getting better. Still, you still want to rely on the offense when it comes to the Chiefs. And again, whilst you have Patrick Mahomes, whilst you have the best quarterback in the game, you will always be high in my power rankings at least. And I think that's why I've got them at 2. Again, this time next month, if things aren't looking great and if the wide receivers have taken a bit of a step down, and let's say Travis Kelce gets hurt, then maybe we'll come back and reassess them and bump them down. But as things stand, I still have them as number 2 and the number 1 team in the AFC. In the AFC overall, and then you can probably guess where this is going. Number one is the Philadelphia Eagles. I still think on both sides of the ball, they have the best. In the trenches, defensive line and offensive line, arguably are both in the discussion for the best in the league. Jalen Hurts is in the discussion for best in the league. You look at what AJ Brown's doing, receiver wise, and the historic pace he's on is 6 games, 125 straight yards. Just fantastic all around. Again, it doesn't need to be more complicated than that. It's just they just have the best skill set across the board when it comes to the NFC and the NFL as a whole. And that's why they are number one. So that's it. Those are my power rankings. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Don't forget you can also subscribe. You can like. You can follow me on all the other socials if you want to take issue with me there, which I'll always gladly do. So, yeah, by all means, feel free to reach out and let me know what you guys think about these power rankings.